Right, got to talk about him. Franz, the Euro referee. You've got to know who I'm talking about with the 180 call. Sounds like he's doing something from Halloween to me every time. Now, I've got to be honest, I love him. I hope you guys at home have heard him because I think it's brilliant. Nathan Aspinall's come out and gone, I hate it. It's doing my head in. It's putting me off. Really? Welcome, everybody, to Mission Darts Podcast, episode 39. And Matt, have we got some exciting news or what?
Probably all what, really. I think exciting news, maybe overselling it a little bit. But to some people, it might be exciting.
It is. And look, we've got a couple of thousand people watching and listening to over a couple of thousand, actually, with the listeners, watching and listening to this every week. Now, we're going to appeal to the listeners, the audio listeners, and say, please get on YouTube just for next week. And I'm going to tell you why. We are going to do episode 40. That's next week. So you'll be listening to this on Sunday, the 11th. Next week's podcast, episode 40. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it live from Matt's studio, which you can see behind him there, on Wednesday, the 14th. At 5:30 p.m. So if you go on YouTube at that time, you'll see us there. You'll see a little live button. Matt and I will be doing the podcast at 5:30 p.m. Wednesday the 14th, live on YouTube. Now, if you can't make that, don't worry. We will be recording it. It will still go out at the normal time on the Sunday, or we know we've got a lot of you that listen to it Monday morning. So don't stress. You're not going to miss our 40th podcast, which is quite a nice number as well to do it on. But those of you that can make it, 5:30 p.m. live Wednesday live podcast. Matt, never done it before. Be interested to see if we can get the tech working, won't it?
Well, I have had a bit of time off, so I have been dealing with a little bit of tech recently. I haven't quite got around to turning the computer on yet. We haven't quite got to that stage, but, you know, I've started relearning again because I used to do live streams before. I've relearned how to do a little bit of that, so I'm getting back into live streaming again, which actually, Andy, could be our first topic of the day because you watched that live stream. And I tell you what, to say I haven't practiced for nearly 4 months, that 1 hour was possibly one of the best hours I've ever thrown.
You've got me worried. Look, I've been saying for months now on the podcast, and the people have been getting in the comments, when are Matt and Andy going to do some playing content? When are we going to see if you can still play? They know you can still play. I pretty much can't, but we've been asked, and we've talked about it. And now I'm worried. Because I thought, Matt's put his darts away. That means if I do a little bit of practice, I might be on par. Watch your live stream last night. I'm like, oh, God, he's still professional level. I got no chance. I'm going to get battered.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. Whether it was you relaxed, whether it was because you're on home soil, I don't know, Matt, but you were throwing really, really well. And whether I can compete with you when we have, because we're going to do some playing content that's coming on the main channel soon. And we might even do a little bit during the live podcast, Matt. That would be fun. But I'm not sure I can compete with you looking at how you were throwing last night. You must have surprised yourself.
There's a lot that surprised me. I mean, I 180 in the first 6 throws. And I didn't have a practice beforehand because I wanted it to be authentic and I wanted to talk people through how to do a proper practice session. And I live streamed a practice session. And if you've got an hour, how can you structure an hour? And that's what I did. And 6 throw, 180. I was like, no, this can't be happening. And then I did a bullseye game. First 3 darts, bull, bull, bull. I'm like, a triple bull with the first 3 darts. And then 2 shots later, I went bull, bull 25. Then I went bull, bull 25. I was just like, what is going on? And this is out there. The live stream's available. I've left it available so people can see I'm not blagging this. Check out.
Now, is
round the board, gone.
Interesting question. Did any of the viewers pick up on what flights you were using?
Yes.
Right. Because those eagle-eyed, those people that cross over, that watch both channels and like watching Matt and like watching us together, will have noticed Matt using some different flights. Now, that was something I suggested the last time he was down, and we're going to do a little video. So we've been talking about this for a while. I'm down in the studio next week with Matt, hence we're doing the live, but we're also going to be doing lots of little videos together. And one of those is going to be centered around Matt's stem and fly. Now, look, he loves his darts, but I'm really keen to do a kind of mini precision for Matt on the back end of the dart. So I gave him these a couple of months ago and said, Matt, I think these will work for you. Just watch you throw. And he was like, don't really know. They're molded. Don't really know. He's used them for the first time last night and they were brilliant. But I'm not sure that's the perfect one. So I'm going to bring loads of different things down next week, Matt. And we're going to do a video with you trying different back ends on the dart, different stem and flight systems, all centered around what I think is right for you. Standard flights are no good for you the way your darts lie. So centered around the slims and kites and that sort of thing. That's going to be a really interesting video that will be on the main channel. And I'm sure you're looking forward to just seeing what the differences are between the different systems.
This is going to be interesting because, and this conversation we're about to have now is going to be interesting to our listeners because I'm a complete anomaly, if that's how you say it. Yeah, probably not, because I don't fit normal darts. Like the thing is, right, with darts, there's a rule of thumb that suits majority, and then there's a minority. I am the minority. Now, because I'm the minority, that is quite good in the sense that you can give me any dart and I can throw it reasonably. You know, you've given me loads of different darts, and within 9 darts, I'm throwing tons and throwing straight and throwing good. Yeah. And you're like, how can you do that? That annoys me. But what that also means is I can work against the grain with what's perfect for me. Now, when I was playing my best, when I was sort of in the top 64, I used a slim flight and a 23-gram dart, which traditional trajectories would say 23 grams is too heavy to throw slims. Because
that would be the first thing that came to me,
The rule of thumb is anything 21 grams and below is for slims. That is sort of the guide. But yet, again, last night, I've got the pack here because I opened them because I've still not got my darts out of the case for the last 4 months nearly. I had to open a new pack. And you'll see here, I've thrown with 23-gram darts last night with those slims. Now, these are slightly bigger than a slim, slightly bigger than a slim. Not much,
but different name,
They're instead of it being a straight cut, it cuts outwards, so it's light and slim. So, but 23 grams that shouldn't work. But for me, it works better than anything. I can throw a heavier dart with a smaller flight. Now, I'm guessing that is coming down to the fact that I project quite a lot of it with the arm.
Yeah. You are an anomaly, not an easy word to say, in that, and you always get those in sport. You know, I always like a golf reference, and if we've got any golfers listening, the Bryson DeChambeau, he was the first guy that came along and went, all my different golf clubs have different length shafts. I want to play with the same length in everything. And everyone, you can't do that. Nobody's ever done that. And then he wins like the US Open. And they're like, you're him. Because you're right. Going heavier with a slim, the balance shouldn't be right. It just shouldn't be. You should be going lighter. But you have got an unusual throw. Now, I've seen you grip at the front, grip at the back, grip a long dart, grip a short dart, and you manage somehow to be able to throw them all. We've walked into venues on Rate My Hockey, and you've picked something up, and I'm like, oh, my God, I couldn't throw them. And you've gone 140. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. You know, so you've clearly got something within your throw that enables you to throw anything. If there was a category in darts as who's the best player that can throw any dart, you'd probably win it. You know, it's unfortunate that you're not Luke Littler with your own darts, because as an overall category, you can throw anything. I've given you. I know you struggle a little bit with the short darts because your finger ends up on the stem, but even them you've managed to get. So you are unusual. That being said, that's going to make it really good fun once I start changing the back end to see what the difference is. Because I'm looking for your throw with the perfect angle into the board, which will be slightly below horizontal, almost stacker, Phil Taylor. That's what I'm looking for with your throw. I don't want it perfectly straight. I don't want it pitching up. I want it slightly below horizontal. But yeah, watching you for the first time last night on the live, I was like, where's this form coming from? He hasn't picked up his darts for 2 months. Ridiculous. And I'm not taking credit for saying try these stems and all of a sudden it's, you're playing unbelievable. I'm not taking credit for that because you can throw pretty much anything. But it's certainly going to be interesting. I think we're going to do some really interesting videos next week that people are going to want to see, because it's going to be like, oh, I never realized that. And I get this a lot in precision fittings. You put a kite, you put a standard flight in for somebody, a number 2, and then you change it to a number 6, which is slightly smaller, and it does different things. And they're like, or you go from a short stem to a midi stem, and it does different things. And they're like, everybody's so considered of what dart I want to buy. Oh, it's got to be that dart. And then the kind of stem flight is a separate, oh, well, that looks nice. I'll chuck that on the back, some Union Jacks. That'll do me. Get them on, or whatever it is. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm really, really looking forward to that next week. And that's if we don't kill each other 2 days together.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense in terms of never teach that to anybody to do that. But again, when I go back to the darts when I used to play my best, I was 23 grams and a slim, and it was only the injuries and the aches that made me go, right, I've got to change this. And you know what? I played last night for just over an hour, first time in ages, and I've got up this morning, and people that actually have watched my darts or want me to get out there playing again, the good news is I don't ache this morning, where before, if I would have, I would be aching by now. After doing an hour, next day I'd be hurting. Not hurting. So
that's good.
Positive signs really that maybe a bit of rest has done me good. And I've already spoke to a friend of mine who I travel with and suggested that if I can continue to throw without any aches or pains, we might be doing a tournament in the summertime. And not only that, I have conversation today about sorting out a date to play the Super Series. So,
okay.
So a couple of options.
Never say never. Yeah, I remember the last time you played it, and I was like, "Are you ever going to do that again?" You were like, "I'm not going to say no, but I doubt it."
Yeah.
but yeah, so you didn't say no, and you might be having another go. So yeah, why not? Why not? Right, let's get on some darts topics, Max. There are quite a lot this week, and these have all kind of come from watching the Euros. I've been enjoying the Euros. My one concern about it is I was talking to somebody the other day, and he was like, I love the darts. I love watching the darts. Doesn't play, just loves watching the darts. But he was like, but there is no darts now. There's nothing on TV. I've got to wait until June to the World Cup. And I was like, it's on every weekend, mate. He's like, is it? And there's the problem. The Euros is only on PDC TV. And you can get it on the betting sites, can't you? If you place a bet or you've got someone in your account. So because it's not on terrestrial or Sky, people have forgotten that there's events still going on. Whether the PDC can address that, I don't know. But I did take his point of view that he watched the UK Open and he's almost got to wait from then until June before there's anything else on TV. Other than the Premier League, obviously, which is one night a week. And some people are into that and some people aren't. If you want to watch a tournament, I don't class that as a tournament. If you want to watch a tournament, it is. So whether the PDC will think about that, I don't know.
Okay, so they did. It was Viaplay that had the deal. But Viaplay's had issues in regards to being able to broadcast that. So it was broadcasted at one point. Now it's not. Viaplay still have the contract in place for that, so it's not something that they can reassign to somewhere else. They'd have to get that back, get the broadcasting rights back, which is why it's only on PDC TV in the UK. There is changes being made. I see there's an announcement been made, so I'll be able to talk about some of them, and that is the fact that Match Play are taking over the productions now of different. So there's a couple of things. So remember this, right? What you watch is a broadcasted event. So if you watch Darts on ITV, currently that is broadcasted and produced. So that's the camera work, all the other bits that go into it. It's broadcasted and produced by the people at ITV. Now, what's going to be changing is Matchroom are going to produce the content and then sell it to the broadcaster. So instead of going, we're giving you the rights to come and film our tournament, which is what currently happens. Sky Sports come down, Sky film the tournament, Sky broadcast it. They say, we're going to produce it and we're just going to basically send you this stream that's already done. It goes out edited, it goes out with all your camera shots. So they use their own staff to do that. Now that's the way it's going next year, not for Sky, but for ITV. So ITV is going to probably be leaving, which means we're probably going to see darts on Netflix. We're probably going to see darts on Amazon, as like the UK Open, for example, be on Netflix. So stuff like that. This isn't gospel. This is just me sort of speculating where that's going to be. And then that will be produced by the people that produce things like the European Tour, things like that. So it'll be that sort of thing. And then that production sold. So yeah, we probably will see more accessibility to these because, again, if they get that contract back, they could even say to Netflix, right, Netflix, you can have the European Tour. So maybe the Euro Tour go on Netflix, but they have to get that back from Viaplay, and at the moment, Viaplay aren't using it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening, especially with regards to Amazon. It was only last night the Champions League football. I'm not a big football fan, but Champions League was on, and I was like, why can't I find it? Why? And then I texted a mate who's like, oh, it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime. I was like, what? I would never think to look for football Champions League semi-final on Amazon Prime. You know, I just wouldn't. And funnily enough, last time I was in America, I know we have a lot of American listeners, and they were sort of saying to me then that their monthly bill was like about $300 because they've got that many independent broadcasters that you have to be subscribed to them all, otherwise you miss out on stuff. You know, you got Paramount and CBS, all these things. And I think that's the way we're going. We got Amazon, we got Netflix, we got, well, just in my house, Amazon, Netflix, Disney Plus, Sky Sports. Then you got normal TV, and you're like, then there's Paramount, and then there's Pluto, and you know what I mean? There's so many different channels now.
This is where the problem lies. So again, looking industry, talking in, coming out of. So the Netflix very nearly got all of darts. It was close. It was close. Sky came in late with a bid because they knew they needed the darts. Without the darts, I was in trouble. As someone who works for Sky, I have concerns over the future of Sky because there's so much competition now for that space of broadcasting events that it's getting spread. And Sky's biggest weakness is in 2025, people expect one of two things. You expect to pay for your broadcast, or you expect to pay in time, so in money or in time. Now, by that, I mean, if I have Netflix and I pay $12.99 a month, I pay $12.99 a month for that membership, and that's it, I'm in. If I pay a cheaper membership or no membership, I expect to pay in time. And by that, I expect to have adverts in my programming.
Yeah.
The issue we've got now, like YouTube's free, or you can pay to remove the ads. So you either pay money or you pay in time. And the problem Sky's got at the moment is their model relies on both. It relies on paying a subscription and paying in time with adverts. And the problem you've got at the moment is people are aware of that marketplace of you pay in time or you're paying cash. And the issue is right now is they are probably the most expensive, and they also don't provide as good in the sense of if I pay that membership, I now don't have to watch loads of ads. So something's going to have to change in the next couple of years, or they're going to get overtaken as the market leader, and the market leader will become Netflix, especially if they start getting the darts. And they know that. And Netflix will bid high for it for that exact reason, because they know they'll be attacking against the Sky model.
Yeah, you made a great point there, Matt. A really, really good point. There's something I hadn't considered about. You're right. You pay your Disney Plus subscription and you watch whatever you want. You don't have to watch any adverts because you've paid for the subscription. So that's really interesting. Right, getting on to what I've been watching, because that's how I started this about the Euros, which I was watching last weekend. A couple of questions for you. And this one's tickled me the last few times. You've finished the game. You've shook hands. Good game, mate. Well played. Why then do the players always go opposite ends to shake the marker's hands and then end up clashing in the middle? I'm like, every single time they both go opposite ways, shake hands, and then they end up in the middle, like, oh, I don't know which way to go. Why don't they just go the same way? And like, yeah, thanks, mate.
So I used to do that. I used to follow. Now, the reason people don't like doing it is because, let's say you go first, shake the mark's hands, we get to the referee, and then you get to the referee, you have a little chat with him, and I stand there like, people don't like that moment where you stand there. Now, in the past, we used to find ways to deal with that little tiny awkward moment. It wasn't a big deal. However, nowadays, in 2025, people can't deal with that awkward moment or that dead space. Call it dead space.
Yeah.
Now, classic example way of proving this. You go to Tesco's, you go to Aldi, go to whatever supermarket you want, and the person that is second in the queue waiting to do something won't just be able to stand there in that dead space. They'll have to get their phone out to actively fill that time. And they'll be like, you know, and you could remember seeing it flip, because when phones first was invented, mobile phones, I was sort of growing up alongside the development of mobile phones. And there was a lots of awkward and socially awkward people who didn't know how to fill that time, that would stand and pretend to be on the phone to somebody. And you know it, because they used to have the flashy aerials. If you remember, you could put the flashy aerial in the top, and you'd see sometimes it'd ring, and you'd be like, you were over on the phone, you just pretending to be, because it's just trying to fill that awkward space. Now the problem is phones have developed that much that you carry around a supercomputer with you, and all they're doing is probably flicking through Facebook, and it's like
just scrolling.
Just to fill that space, to
fill that
disconnect
20 seconds.
Yeah,
amazing, isn't it?
So
amazing.
Imagine that on stage with 4,000 people looking at you, and you've got to deal with this 5-10 seconds. That's all we're talking. 5-10 seconds of just, I'll just stand and wait for a minute. You feel awkward. So yeah, I can see why people do it. It's just to avoid that potential,
avoid the awkward space. Right, got to talk about him. Franz, the Euro referee. You've got to know who I'm talking about. With the 180 call. Sounds like he's doing something from Halloween to me every time. Now, I've got to be honest, I love him. I hope you guys at home have heard him, because I think it's brilliant. Nathan Aspinall's come out and gone, I hate it. It's doing my head in. It's putting me off. Really? It's brilliant. It's somebody you know, look, Kurt Bevin's got a way of saying it. You know, all the referees have their own way, and that's how they get on TV, let's be honest, because of the way they talk. Franz has come along. He only does the Euros. He's got a different his voice, just thinking about it now, and cracks me up. I love it. I can't wait for somebody to hit a 180.
Have a go at it. Have a go at it.
I can't do it. It's the way he comes down on the 180. No, that's not even it. It's like I can't do it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, and I love it. And I was going to ask you, are you a fan or not?
I'm a fan of anything that's different. And when was the last time something new, something different happened that everyone went, that's brilliant, that? Never happens. People are scared of change. People are scared of things that are different. And it's one of those things that if he sticks around in a couple of years' time, everyone will be like, yeah, it'll become a thing. Like Russ Bray. His 180 call became something that was quite iconic.
Exactly.
And do you know what? When I look at it, I look at it and think, right, well, I'd like to get him down at Modus, get him on there for a bit, you know, get him, because it's one of those things where it doesn't matter if I like it or I don't, because that's just my personal opinion. The most important thing is right now we are talking about this, and there are other people talking about this, and there's news articles that are talking about this. He is winning. He is winning right now.
Absolutely.
And that's the most important thing. And the other thing is people are talking. And the worst thing we're in an entertainment industry. People come to the podcast, come to a match, come to whatever we do, come to a video, a live stream. They go to the PDC, they go wherever they are because they want to be entertained. They want to be entertained. And the worst thing in entertainment industry is silence. If no one's saying anything, you're in trouble. So the fact that it divides opinions good as well. And like I say,
yeah. And I even heard one of the comments saying something along the lines of, "Oh, he's quite a good-looking chap as well," And I was like, "Yeah, that's not going to do him any harm in front of the camera." Look, I remember in snooker the first ever female referee, and it was like, "Oh, okay, we've not seen this before." Now I've just watched the world final, and a female referee marks the final. That's how much we've come along with that. And brilliant. It was fantastic to watch. And that leaves me perfectly into my next question, which is, I don't know if you watched the snooker. I don't think you're a snooker fan, but I watched some of the world final, and it was two left-handers in the world final. Zhao, the guy who won, and Mark Williams, both left-handers. Immediately, brains ticking over. Has there ever been, and I'm going to throw this out to the viewers, has there ever been a major darts tournament final contested on TV by two left-handers? Now, the only two I could think of was, did James Wade and Mark Webster ever get to a world? And they didn't. They played in the semis of the UK Open, but not the final. Can you think, has there ever been a TV major with two left-handers in? I don't think there is.
Not a TV major. There's been games and been big games. I mean,
obviously.
Martin Phillips, I think, got quite far in 1 year as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few left-handers when you think about it. I just can't remember. Obviously, Mark Webster was a world champion. James Wade's been in the world final several times. You've got Mickey Mansell's left-handed. I'm trying to think of all the others. There's quite a few around now, but I certainly couldn't think of one. Please get in the comments if you can think of one. I haven't been through the archives looking for it particularly. But yeah, it was just something that immediately came to my mind. And you're right. Franz, going back to Franz, he's different, brilliant. Right, staying on the Euros. What's happened to Chizzy? He can't win a game. He was the Euro king. Won 3 or 4 Euros a year, every year. He can't win a game, Matt. What's going on? What's happened? Has he got to that age where he's comfortable and he's not bothered about practicing anymore? And has something broken down in his throw? His throw certainly doesn't look as fluid as it once did. Has he got other things going on? You're smiling a little bit. Do you know something I don't?
No, I have a theory, but I don't feel I've got enough to back up my theory to voice it.
Oh, okay.
It is probably what I'll go with, because it could open up a can of worms that's not really correct. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's one of them. But yeah, I do have a theory on this. It's something I'm monitoring, actually. It's ironic you bring it up. It is something I'm tracking because I'm an analyst. I track things. That's what I've got to do. It's part of my job.
Okay. So it's not something you want to voice then?
Not as yet, because I haven't. Okay. I only like voicing things at the point where I think I'm completely onto something, and at the moment I think I'm onto something, but I can't back it up enough that if someone asks me a follow-up question, I'll be able to really come back at it and conviction.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's not around the molded flights that he's using, because that brings me on to something else, and I know you're going to use this as I know this is going to be your answer. I have never seen so many darts drop out the board as did at the weekend. Now, I'm not talking.
I've been saying it for years.
I'm not talking, mate. Honestly, at the weekend it was out of control, and I'm not talking about the dart coming in, clashing with the others, and falling out. I'm talking about the point going into the treble, single, whatever, and then the dart falling out. I don't know what. Look, I'm certainly not having a go at the dartboards. That's something we never do. The grey dartboards. What is going on? We're all using more grippy points than what we ever did. Why was there so many darts on the floor this weekend? I don't understand it, Matt. Other than you saying
through some of our content, when we talk about when we did the folded molded, I said I have never seen more bounce outs than we do now, and I watch a lot of darts because I have to. It's my job. I'm either analysing, I'm commentating. I cover thousands of games a year. And with that, I've never seen as many bounce outs as we have in the last 12 to 18 months. Now,
so we can
there's a couple of
blame
theories.
molded for part of it.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I don't think there's one answer. I think there's a collection of answers.
Okay.
So, answer number one: molded systems, heavier deflections, less pace on the dart entering the board. So, we've got one there. I'd be interested to know if the boards are made of the same quality. Now, the reason I ask this is because you may know some of this, but if you remember when darts had a bit of a boom, we had issues getting materials into the UK, and manufacturer just signed a new deal with the PDC, which meant the PDC needed pallets upon pallets of boards. And then because of the boom, the major retailers, such as high street retailers that have catalogues, said, we want a lot of dartboards. So they took them all.
Yeah.
So there was no dartboards. There was a dartboard shortage for a period of time, to the point where us as Mission, if you remember, we had to ration people's buying of boards. Like we'd be like, you could, like a company would come in and go, we want dartboards. Sorry, you can only have 10 because we need to supply all these other companies, and you can't come in and take 200 boards. So you can have 10.
Yeah, and let me just give you that from a manufacturer's point of view. We're talking about the sisal here. It's the sisal. It's the quality African sisal that you need to make a premium dartboard. If there isn't enough of that to go around, it's not all the other bits. It's just the sisal. It's not the manufacturing plant. It's not, have we got enough staff? It's basically, have we got enough sisal? If you haven't got enough quality sisal, you can only make so many dartboards.
And with that, are the boards now, because these are the boards that would have been produced quickly to get that turnaround to get them back into the marketplace. Are we seeing now, because if you look at the timeline, these will be the palette. This will, because they'd have gone through, when you think about the Pro Tours, Euro Tours, Development Tour, Women's Series, all those different things, they'd have gone through the backlog. Are we seeing now potentially a rushed product?
I don't think so. I mean, we're talking about other brands here, so we're certainly not going to, say anything negative about them. That's not our style at all. And I don't. So I've got my own theory, and you can poo-poo this, or you can agree with it. Really, we have our own opinion. My theory is a bit of a crazy one. And I can't back it up so much, but I'm sure players are using an overall longer dart than what they were 10 years ago. I'm seeing long points in everybody's darts. I'm seeing longer stems in everybody's darts. I'm seeing longer barrels than I've ever seen before. If you and I played for a long period of time, one of us using a short, let's call it a Phil Taylor dart, the one he famously won all these world titles with. The other one using a Luke Littler dart, as in a long point, long barrel, long stem, I'm sure you'd get more dropouts from that dart than you would from the short, heavy bomber dart. That's what is going through my head as everybody got carried away with using long everything. And therefore, as the dart is coming in, as we well know, with a longer dart, you've got more of this going on in the air. If there's more of that, it's losing momentum. And as it comes in, it's not hitting the sisal with enough speed. That's my theory.
It's also just look at point length. So standard point length hits the board. So, okay.
Yeah.
Goes deeper into the board. So deeper bite, stable. Now, the other issue you've got is with a longer point, it's not going to be a case of it's now here, because it's hit the board a little bit sooner because the point's longer. So actually the angle is going to be a little bit more, which means there's going to be more weight pushed down on there. And the dart going in is going to keep more weight, so more chance to. So certainly if you hit any soft spot, boards will have soft spots. It's impossible not to have a soft spot on the board because just how they're made. There's going to be areas that are a little bit firmer, areas that are a little bit softer. That's just how dartboards are. It's impossible to make it. We're working with a living plant, essentially. It's impossible to make it so it's every board's exactly the same. So, if you hit one of those, there's obviously that weight's going to tip down. So, that said, there's lots of reasons. I don't think you can put it down to one. And you can't just put it all down to the board. You can't all just put it down to the throwing equipment.
No, I think it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things. Going back, I've watched darts for a long, long time. I'm a fair bit older than you. And I can't remember seeing darts drop out of the board. I can remember seeing them hit the wire, bouncing out. I can remember seeing them hit the flight or the stem. I can never remember seeing 20 years ago, watching a dart go into the sisal and then fall out. So it has to be a combination of all those things we've just said. That being said, I'd like to see somebody analyze it and see how much that is affecting. If you're getting 5 to 10 of those in a game, that's got to be affecting things.
I did look at the analysing on this, and bounce outs was up. I think it was up something like 2.7% off the top of my head. It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Well, that's 3 points. If it's 2.something%, that's 3 points. Interesting. Right. Quote of the weekend from one of the commentators. Sadly, I didn't listen close enough or rewind it to who it was. Somebody was holding up a sign saying, oh no, that's what it was. It was somebody holding up a sign, and I didn't have time to click it. You probably didn't watch it. Somebody was holding up a sign in the audience saying, where's Luke Littler? Can't he play Xbox on Mondays? That's absolutely. And the camera zoomed in on it. And I was like, that's genius. I wish I could get that guy on the podcast, because that's genius. He's not turning up at the Euros. We've heard him say in the past, I like to play Xbox on weekends. And just somebody putting can't he play on it on a Monday.
Do you know what I don't like? Do you know what I don't like? And this is not singling out anyone. It is just the conversation you brought up, because Luke's not the only one who does this. A lot of people are doing this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What I don't like is when they pull out of ranking tournaments and go play exhibitions.
Oh, yeah.
Don't like it, because essentially the PDC are making the person. They've provided the opportunity. They provided the broadcast. They've put all this attention, and then what they're doing is they're going to go, right, okay, well, what we're going to do, we're going to cut out the promoter, the PDC. We're going to go work privately for private promotion. We're going to charge X amount to do this, and I think that's dangerous game to play, because if you're now the promoter, if you're the PDC and you're turning up to a European tour and you haven't got your top 4 attractions because they're off doing something else, I think the danger there is then do people stop buying tickets because they're not getting to see the top 4 attractions. If I went to WrestleMania a couple of weeks ago and I've just spent 10 grand to go there to Las Vegas, I've traveled all the way across, and the top guys aren't there, I'm going to feel a little bit shortchanged. I'm going to be like, well, I've put all that in and they've not even put out the top guys. I've got like a bit of a, yes, I've watched a quality show, but I haven't seen the main star. I want to see the main star. I want to see the main attraction. There was a classic case before on wrestling where they advertised The Undertaker at a house show. And you turned up at a house show once and he wasn't on it. He wasn't available for the night. And there was a piece of paper on all the doors on the way in that said, The Undertaker is not here tonight. Refunds are available. You could have a refund on the whole show because one person wasn't there.
Yeah.
One person.
I like that, Matt. And yeah, the same. I've been to the open. Yeah, I've been to the Open Golf many times, but imagine getting there and they're going, oh, sorry, mate, but Tiger Woods, Scotty Scheffler, all the top 10 in the world, they've not turned up this week. They've all gone doing an exhibition. I'd be like...
They're all in Barnsley playing on a crazy golf.
I wouldn't be happy. But I'm really glad you managed to get WrestleMania in again, because I'm sort of thinking about something that I was going to ask you. So imagine I'm a teenager now and I'm getting into things, and my he's into the WrestleMania and wrestling and darts. How does my dad get me into wrestling, because he can take me to the Ali Pali, to the World Championship, get me a ticket for 60 quid. I'm there. I'm seeing the best players in the world, and I've paid 60 quid, and I've got the bug, and I'm into it. He can't take me to WrestleMania. It's 10 grand. So how do people get, you know what I mean? Do you understand my point here? How do you, and look, I'm not trying to get people into wrestling instead of darts. I'm just thinking, is that the reason why I never got into wrestling? Because I never had the opportunity to see it.
They do tours in the UK. They're coming over again. So they come about 2-3 times a year. I think in a way, that's probably why my generation love it so much, though, because we were so deprived of it. They would come over and they'd do one event in the UK, and you could never get a ticket for it. You could never get a ticket. And I think because we were so deprived of seeing it, that actually it's even more amazing now. And it's, it wasn't as accessible, but nothing was. We're talking generational here, because I used to collect WWF Hasbro figures, little, the figures with the stiff arms.
Don't say
I still collect them now. Yeah, I've bought a lot of them now because I never finished a collection. I used to play with them. I used to love the Hasbro figures, right? And the problem we had was, unless you went into a local toy shop, because we didn't have multiple chains. Toys R Us came around at one point, but we didn't have multiple chains. Now, when you'd go in, your toy shop may have some wrestling figures. And if they had wrestling figures, you had to see if they had the ones that you needed. And if they had the ones you needed, great. But not many shops had them. And even the main supermarkets, like Asda, would occasionally have them, but they wouldn't have them too often. So if I wanted wrestling figures, I was very lucky to stumble across them, and then I had to stumble across the right ones. Nowadays, it's very different. If I want a wrestling figure, I go on eBay, I go on Amazon, and it's here tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can import it from America. Like, if I want it, I can get it tomorrow. Like, nothing's out off limits, especially if you're willing to pay up for something. Like, you can have it tomorrow. If you're really willing to pay up for it, I could have it today if I really wanted it. And I think, in a way, the modern world takes away some of the fun, because remember when we used to go on the playground with our football stickers, and you'd go out there and you'd be like, right, I need Ryan Giggs. I've got a shiny Alan Shearer. Anyone want to swap? And you'd go through it, and then someone would go, right, well, I've got this shiny, but I'm not swapping that for a common. I want 10 commons. So you'd go through, you can have a David May, you can have a Gary Pallister, and you'd go through all your duplicates to swap for that one card. And you'd be like, yes, I got it. Now, Mum, can you just go on eBay and get me shiny Alan Shearer? Yeah, of course. There you go. £3.69. It's here tomorrow.
Mate, I went through exactly the same with my daughter maybe 6-7 years ago. She was into Disney, and there was a Disney album. I seem to remember it was Moana or something like that. And you buy stickers, and she'd open the packet and stick them in, and there was one you couldn't get. Maui or something. You couldn't get it. It was like, you just go on eBay. Somebody's selling one for £5. Right, that's it. Book completed. There's the fun completely gone, because now we've completed the book. Right, what do we do now? We don't go and buy another packet or exchange them with your mates, or fun completely gone. Yeah, all done.
There you go.
Well, same thing at the weekend. As you know, I got into vinyl, been buying records, and how easy is that? You go on Amazon, you order an album, it's there the next day. But the weekend, I went to Manchester. There's 3 or 4 record shops in the Northern Quarter area, and I spent hours in there flicking through. Oh my God, I can't believe that's still available, and like, oh wow, that's a red vinyl version of what, and it's exciting. It's brilliant. It's you find stuff you wouldn't normally find, as opposed to, oh, I know I want these 3 things, right? I'll order them 3 things. That's it, and my mind's not open to anything else. Really, really good point. The interesting thing is that the kids now, Matt, will never know the difference, because they've only ever had it this way.
Instant gratification, yeah. I'm a collector, and do you know what? Right, some of the when I've got time off, when I'm at home at the weekend, I'll go to car boot sales, because I'm thinking, there might be some retro toys, some retro games, different bits. I collect all that stuff: football figures, wrestling figures, Power Rangers, Turtles, all sorts of different bits. So I collect loads, and the thing is, right, if I went on eBay and I bought an Ian Walker football Corinthian figure, that's the little guys with the big heads, I collect those, football Corinthian figure on card, it'd cost me about £3.95. It wouldn't be a lot. But I went to the car boot and I saw one sticking out of a box, and I've gone over, picked it up, they've gone £2, and I've gone, whoa, I'm buzzing because I've just found it at a car boot sale. It's cost me £2 to get in. So it's cost me £2 to get in. I've spent £10 in petrol to get there. I bought this figure for £2, and I feel like a winner because I didn't pay $3.95 on eBay for it.
I love the fact you just brought this up because I thought of you at the weekend. I'm looking for this record shop that somebody's told me to go to. It was a used record shop. And they've gone, it's in this arcade on the 3rd floor. Right, I found this arcade place. I'm gone in. Honestly, it was like, I've never seen a place like this in my life. It was the most randomest stuff being sold I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, up I've gone. Going up to the 3rd floor. As I'm trying to find this little, you would never, ever know it was there unless you knew it was there. As I'm walking past, there's a guy selling vintage toys, and he's got the little figures with the big heads on a wall, right? And I'm not kidding. There must have been, I didn't count them. It's got to have been 50 across by, it's got to have been 1,000. It was ridiculous. And the first thing I thought was, oh my God, Matt would lose his mind if he was in here. So whereas I would never go on the internet and go, oh, Matt, I need to show you this website. What? No, you'd be like, what? Stop wasting my time. But if I said, Matt, we've got to go to Manchester, this shop, you will lose your mind. That's interesting. You'd love it. And
well, look at the when was out filming Rate My Hockey. Filming Rate My Hockey. I saw a Typhoon WWF Hasbro figure in the window for 50p, and I'm like, Andy, I've got to go in here. And you're like, they only took cash, so I had to drive a couple of miles down the road to get some cash out of the cash point to drive back up again. And you're like, Matt, can we just go? I'm like, nope, I'm getting this Typhoon Hasbro figure. It's in a shop, and the thing is, right, it's the experience of going into somewhere and buying something like that. It's the whole experience. Like, I go to retro toy shops, I go to retro toy fairs, and sometimes I go to a toy fair and I don't buy anything because there's nothing there that I want or need at the time. Or I just walk around and I'm just like, this just feels great to walk around, and everything's just of that era. And for that moment in time, you just go back and you're just like, this is so cool. Like, it's just, even when I see something I've already got, and this is something I had to stop doing, right? Because I've still got that sort of child brain who, if I see something I like, I want it, even if I've already got it. So I had a collection at one point of Green Power Rangers boxed dragon daggers. And Jodie was like, stop buying dragon daggers. Like, you've got one, you've got the legacy dragon dagger, you've got the remake dragon dagger, you've then got the original one again, and then I buy it again. So how many dragon daggers do you need? You got 3 originals. Stop buying dragon daggers. So, yeah.
I think we should shout out and look, get everybody involved, and if you're still listening, don't make sure you subscribe, by the way. But put in the comments this week, and I might if I get a really good comment, I might do it as comment of the week next week or something. But what you collect, because we're well aware that Matt's into his toys and vintage stuff like that. What do you collect that's unusual? Look, the only thing I collect is whiskey. Right, I'm a whiskey. I was in the whiskey trade. I buy rare bottles of whiskey and I don't open them. If I can afford it, I'll buy 2, one to drink, one to keep. That's the only thing I collect. To a point, I collect records, but I use them. So I'm not really collecting them. But get in the comments. I bet there's some really interesting things that people collect, Matt. I bet, it might be somebody collects rare dartboards, or I don't know. Get in the comments.
If you are a collector of darts, don't forget that the new Matthew Edgar Mission darts are now available in 21, 23, and 25 grams. 23 grams, guys, I think there's only one set available at the minute. They're nearly sold out again. They've just been restocked again in the 21 gram and available in the heavier 25. So they are your Matthew Edgar darts. I had to open a pack last night to do my live stream, but you'll see here, very nice and jazzy darts.
They'll have gone by the time you said this. Right, 2 more things, Matt. First of all, Peter Wright. He stopped dancing.
Good.
He ain't dancing anymore. Good. I think he's listened to the pod and gone, oh, Matt said it's getting a bit boring now. I better stop doing this. He stopped dancing. He just walks on stage now to the same music, shakes hands, right, off we go. Still got the funny hair and the crazy clothes, but yeah, he stopped dancing.
Things need to evolve.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to mention, and I've got a couple of comments if we've got time as well. But I've mentioned this around about podcast number 3 or something, and I didn't get a very good response from you then, but I've had to bring it up again because I'm watching the darts at the weekend, and 78. It's amazing how many times 78 gets left in a game. When I was practicing, because my darts sit up, I worked out that the best way for me to go was to go treble 20, double 9. If I hit single 20, 18 double top, because I'm not blocking the tops. The traditional way is to go 18s for double 12. And if you hit the single, you go single 20 double top. But I've seen it again at the weekend. I think it was Ross Smith. Now, Ross Smith starts sit up ridiculously high. You'd be well aware of that. Hits the single 18, puts a dart in single 20. And to say the double top is blocked is an understatement. He's got no chance. And needless to say, he clatters into the other dart and blah, blah. Can you yet give me any justification why my way of going might be the right way if your darts stick up that much? Or am I totally wrong and it has to be 18s?
I just don't think there's a better option.
It's just that I don't mind double 9. So if I hit the treble 20, I'm cool with that. But on the balance of how good I was, the chance of me hitting a treble 18 is probably 1 in 3. So therefore, I'm going to more times leave tops. And because my darts sit up, to hit a single 20 and a double 20 is very difficult for me. In fact, forget the first dart. Just to hit a single 20, double 20 is very difficult for me because of the way my darts sit up. Now, Ross Smith's darts sit up even more. So if I reckon if I said to Ross, right, I just want you to check out 60 all day long, 20 double top. You've got 2 darts at it. How many times would he do it? I don't think very many at all. It doesn't matter to you. Your darts land flat. Doesn't matter to you 1 iota. Your dart will never block the dart at tops. In fact, sometimes it'll help you. And that was, maybe there's another way. So what is it? 78? I mean, Littler would probably go treble 16, double 15. I don't know. Maybe there's a better way. It's just I don't like the 18s route. And the only other person I've seen go my way every time is Simon Whitlock. Unfortunately, he's lost his tour card now, so I don't think it was working out. But that's unfair on Simon.
There is no other way that doesn't leave you on the ball.
So you've got no, there isn't, is there? Because you can go 48, 30.
But you get single.
You could go 42. Yeah, I mean, you could go 42, 36. But you're right; it leaves you on the ball rather than a double. So therefore, my way of going treble 20, double 9. If you hit the single 20, then single 18 tops. The tops isn't blocked. It's an interesting one. Look, if anybody out there agrees with me, I'll be surprised. But I'd welcome your comments as to whether you think it's justified only if your darts sit up as much as kind of Ross Smith's do. That's the only reason. I would never recommend it for you because your darts land flat. Makes no difference to you whatsoever.
Okay, quick one to end with then. We're going to play a little game.
And I love a game. A game to finish.
Pro Tour Order of Merit. So it's a 1-year rolling system just using the Pro Tour. And I'm going to pick some players, and you're going to guess if they're higher or lower using the Pro Tour Order of Merit. That is including European Tours and Pro Tours, basically. Okay? So European Tours and Pro Tours.
This is
over
hard.
1 year. So we're going to start off. I'm going to give you a name, and we're going to say Brendan Dolan. Is he higher or lower than Kim Huybrechts?
So I would say, again, we always get this the wrong way around. So I'm going to say that Kim Huybrechts is higher up, as in nearer to 1. He's higher in the rankings than Brendan Dolan.
He's not.
Is he not?
He's not.
Now that surprises me. I don't remember seeing Brendan on a Euros or it. Yeah, that's really surprising.
Brendan Dolan higher than Kim Huybrechts. Okay, so staying with Kim Huybrechts then, let's go with Ian White. Is Ian White higher or lower than Kim Huybrechts?
He's got to be higher. He made a semi or a final recently. Got to be higher.
Higher by £750.
Wow. Well, at least I got it right. But
okay, let's stick with Ian White then, and let's go. Is Ian White higher or lower than Alan Suter?
Alan won a Pro Tour last year, so is it within the last year? Oh,
his Pro Tour was early in Hildesheim.
Early last year.
Yeah.
So that won't be in the 12-month rankings.
No, that was early in the year.
In which then I'd have to say Alan is lower.
Which he's not. He's actually significantly higher. Alan's 41.
He's Pro Tour player, that surely, is it not?
So sticking with Alan's, Jesus Christ! It only about a podcast.
Yeah, it does. It's the same last week.
Never any other time. It must be the fire alarm test when we do this. It's probably going to go off again then, isn't it?
Maybe this is when we do the test. Yeah, thankfully it's always towards the end of the podcast, so that's good. But that scared the life out of you, that didn't it?
Did you?
Right, go on, give me another. This is a hard game.
Ridds, Alan Suter, higher or lower?
Oh. Right, taking into account Euros, I've got to say Callum's higher.
He's not.
You always come up with a game that I'm useless at. I mean, I come up with games and you just change the rules. But the games that you give me, I am hopeless at these. That's
okay. Let me give you an easy one then. Dave Chisnell or Luke Littler?
This is a trick one, isn't it? This is a trick one. There's no way Chisy's higher than Littler. Littler's got to be higher.
He's not.
Littler's won 3 Pro Tours.
Littler's 9th, Chisy's 3rd.
And I started off this podcast with saying, what's happened to Chisy? Clearly nothing. He's doing fine, thanks.
Okay, then.
Oh, my
Josh
God.
Rock or Gerwyn Price?
Oh, you see, now, this is the sort of one that I would say was difficult. I thought the others were easy and I got them all wrong. So who in the last 12 months, who's done better? Oh, this is taking into account Euros as well, isn't it? I'd say Josh Rock's higher.
By 60 grand.
He is. By 60 grand?
Josh Rock's top, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a real good one. Good one to play at home, this, off the Pro Tour rankings. It's a lot easier. Let's just explain for those of you that might think we're doing the order of merit, which we're not. This is the Pro Tour rankings, which takes into account Players' Championships and Euros. Is that right, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with majors or anything like that. It's just off those. That's a really interesting game to finish that, Matt. As usual.
I just got the good news. Normally, we'd go, right, after we come off, we'll go, right, when we're doing the podcast next week, I'd then say, I'm in Germany doing the Pro Tour, so we'll do it Tuesday night. I'll sit in that same bit we did last time. Don't have to do that this time, because we're doing it live.
We're doing it live. Wednesday the 14th.
German podcasting.
5:30 p.m. live from Matthew Edgar's studio in Daventry. We will be doing the podcast live for the first time ever.
Oh, and you're going to get to see the new cabinet.
Oh, new cabinet. I'm going to get to see all sorts. I've never seen your studio yet. Oh, we're getting a sneak peek. Has it got trophies in it? Oh, it's got a belt in it. Look at that. Why has it got a teapot in it, Matt?
That's the 1963 News of the World Championship for my granddad's.
They gave him a teapot.
Yeah, you got gold darts, silver darts, and silver tea set. So it's a silver tea set.
Oh, wow.
In the 60s, they never gave out prize money as such. So as you got through the News of the World and you went through like your pub, your region, your county, all the way to Alexandra Palace, I've got all the prizes they got along the way. So gold darts, silver darts, all the programs, and the silver tea set.
That's brilliant. There's me thinking, why have you got some random tea set and you don't even drink tea? And it's actually got some history to it.
I thought
So
you'd be
that's
more
fine.
worried in what the wrestling belt was. I thought that would be the thing you'd probably be questioning the most.
Well, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest, to be perfectly honest, that there's a wrestling belt in there. But yeah, Wednesday the 14th, 5:30 p.m, live from Matthew's studio. Maybe a bit of playing in between. That is going to be a great podcast. And as you know, we never edit our podcasts anyway, so it's just going to be me and Matt rambling as per normal. Sure, we'll have lots to tell you. Don't miss it. Don't forget, if you can't make that, it will still be recorded now at the normal time. But hopefully, we'll see you for the live one.
See you next week.